Hi guys, today I'll be doing my full card predictions for UFC Fight Night Burns versus Malott. If my voice sounds a little weird, it is because I'm a little sick. Now, before we start this, timestamps will be posted below if you just want to skip around and get the quick picks. But if you guys will be putting money on this card, I do suggest that you watch the full video in its entirety so you guys can actually listen to my breakdown and analysis for each fight, just because I did do a lot of research for this and some of these fights are close and I do have a few underdog picks. So I do suggest, if you are putting money on this card, to just watch the entire video, but if you just want to skip around, the timestamps will be posted below. Alright, let's get started. For the first fight, we have Jamey, the Gremlin Siraj, going against John the Juice Yannis. Now, Jamey Siraj is a good grappler with good submission attempts, with a really good submission attempts. Got 2 submissions in the last fight. One early one over Gustavo Arak, where I'm pretty sure he did take this on short notice and got an impressive win. But these two, this one is against a 33-year-old and this one is against 38-year-old Donny Matos. He got knocked out by Diego Brandao, but Diego Brandao was a former UFC fighter, and it was like a nasty heel hook, if I'm right. Yeah, wheel kick, heel hook, something like that. Um, I don't really hate that loss because it is a UFC fighter. Plus, he is probably on like 20 different types of performance enhancing drugs. But Jimmy Siraj is pretty good, pretty strong for the weight class, and pretty tall, bigger than most people. This is taken at 135, I'm pretty sure. So the weight cut is gonna be interesting. This is the one of the fights that they just added, kind of like the Dakota Ho versus Kai Kamaka, and in this one, I think Jamey Siraj is going to get the win because John Yannis, we've seen him in the UFC. We saw him get absolutely brutally, like, it was just a brutal, like, matchup. He did take this on short notice against Austin Mashi, but he just got beaten everywhere. Even if he, like, survived that, it would have been a 10-8 round. It was a really bad look. He does have knockout power. He's a good stand-up boxer. Kind of has, like, the Moreno type of fighting style, like, kind of, where he, like, you know, I don't really know how to explain it. But I am going to be taking Jamey Siraj because I think he's more of a dog. John Yannis is a dad and has kids, and I'm pretty sure is working a full-time job, where Jamey Siraj has been like gunning for the UFC. He's been waiting his entire life for this. He's been, even in this fight, the commentators were talking about how he's been looking for a big opportunity to get on the UFC card, and here he is. So I will be taking Jamey Siraj just because he is the dog. He's more of a dog than John Yannis, and I feel like he wants this more than John Yannis. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised if John Yannis did get the knockout against Jamey Siraj, because in his last 2 fights, we did see Jamey Siraj get, I wouldn't say like knocked down or slipped, because it's weird because they're fighting on like these weird mats that aren't like actually sturdy. So, and it's like very sweaty and wet, so I could see how maybe he slipped on those few times, but we've seen him get dropped kind of in his last 2 fights, so John Yannis might have the power to take out Jamey Siraj. But he's had good recovery. He's a dog. He just won't lose. You would actually have to brutally knock him out like Diego Brandao did to actually get him out, and even then he was still trying to stay in the fight, but it was too bad of a hit. So I will be taking Jamey Siraj, and I think he will get the submission in the second round. I think John Yannis has shown he has problems with takedowns. He has really bad takedown defense, even though he says time and time again that he is improving his takedown defense. His last fight was 8 months ago. Maybe he did improve it. But again, this is another short notice thing for both of them. But I do feel like Jamey Siraj will be better on the short notice. I don't think John Yannis is ready for Jamey Siraj, or will be able to dog it out over Jamey Siraj. And yeah, the pick will be Jamey Siraj by submission, though this is one of the closer picks, and I can honestly see John Yannis winning. Now, for the next fight, we have John Sexy Mexi Castañeda going against Mark Vologdin. Now, it says that Mark Vologdin is the favorite, but on Rainbet, he is a slight underdog. It's basically at pick'em odds. On DraftKings, I'm pretty sure he is an underdog, Mark Vologdin. So it's pretty interesting. At first, Mark Vologdin was the favorite at minus 135. And then I think they flipped because people think that John Castañeda will win because he does have a heavy height and reach advantage. But in his last few fights, he just hasn't impressed me. Against Chris Gutierrez, he did make a close fight. I still would have given it 2-1 Gutierrez. He's just very chinny. I don't know. Against Daniel Marcos, he didn't look the greatest. He basically got 30-27. Got some wins over some bums. Did get a win over Moon Gafrov, which is impressive, but that was around 2-3 years ago. Very long time ago. Well, Mark Vologdin, he did lose his fight on the Contender Series, which people do say is the best Contender Series fight of all time. It was a good fight. Probably is the best Contender Series fight of all time. Really good fight. Where he went against Andre Luna Martinelli, who's a very tall and lanky bantamweight. But I still feel like Mark Vologdin looked very, very good in that fight. I liked his boxing. I liked how technical he was, and I liked how he knew how to close the distance against these taller, rangier people. I think he beats John Castañeda basically as the underdog now. Now that he's the underdog, I think he does beat John Castañeda, and I probably will be parlaying him. He's pretty good. He's impressed me a lot. He got a lot of finishes on the regional scene, and I think he finished John Castañeda. John Castañeda has showed he has shin problems. He showed that he's just not good against people who like close the distance against him. I just don't think he beats Mark Vologdin. This will be the first fight where John Castañeda, if I'm right, is at a height and reach advantage for the first time because he is also a small bantamweight and he's been going against a lot of people that are bigger than him. But I don't think this will affect anything. I think that's actually worse for John Castañeda because his entire fighting style has been like molded around fighting the bigger, taller people where Mark Vologdin is used to fighting these shorter people like no these taller people like John Castañeda, and he's built his entire thing around that because he is very very small for the bantamweight division. And yeah, I just think he's better in the striking. I think he has really good sprawls. I think it will be hard for John Castañeda to actually hold Mark Vologdin down since he's very active. He has pretty good cardio. He did show some cardio gaps in his fight, but that was such a high paced fight where I think even there he showed good cardio. But yeah, I think Mark Vologdin is just better, and I do think he will get the KO. No, I'm gonna go decision. I'll go decision for no. I think I put KO for. I think I did put. I need to check what I said the UFC prediction tracker, but I need to make sure it's the same. So I think I did go KO. So I'm gonna go KO late third round KO for Mark Vologdin. Now for this next fight, we have Mitch Raposo going against Allan Puro Oso Nascimento. Now, I mean, the line for this has tightened, and justifiably it has, because Mitch Raposo is good, man. Mitch Raposo is good, especially when Mitch Raposo can let his hands go. Oh my God, he is so good, man. I'm gonna give you my breakdown for this. Here you go. Mitch Raposo is a high level wrestler and is a BJJ black belt, and he has really good boxing. He's a really good wrestler. He's a really good all around fighter. Had an impressive win against Azam Maksum where he just dominated the shit out of him. Like maybe you could give one round to Maksum, but that was mainly because of the wrestling and he was just able to take down Mitch Raposo all the time. But Mitch Raposo showed good urgency. He would always get up from the things. He wouldn't stay on the ground too long. And he just looked so good in this fight. Against Andre Lima, he did have an injury midway into the second round, I think, which a split decision is kind of crazy against Andre Lima, who's an undefeated 11-0 prospect right now. So getting a split decision while you had an injury against Andre Lima is very impressive to me. And Sumadarji, he was beating Sumadarji. I still feel like if they rematch right now, and if Mitch Raposo really let his hands go against Sumadarji, he would easily 30-27 Sumadarji. But he just didn't let his hands go. He could have easily beaten Sumadarji, but still not a bad loss. He was at a crazy reach disadvantage. Now with Allan Nascimento, he looked so bad in his last fight against Cody Durden. He was so bad. Cody Durden, who is I'm pretty sure a wrestler, not really even a striker, was outstriking Allan Nascimento heavily. He was heavily outstriking Allan Nascimento. Allan Nascimento was getting some good calf kicks, don't get me wrong, but he was just getting beat on the feet so hard by a short notice Cody Durden, might I add. Cody Durden took this fight on 10 days short notice and beat Allan Nascimento in the first round. And the only reason Allan Nascimento submitted him in the next round is because Cody Durden got way too close and he ended up getting, I think he got counter elbowed or something. He got elbowed in the face, he got rocked, and then his retarded ass was trying to take him down and then he got caught in submission because this guy's an idiot. Cody Durden probably would have won this fight if Allan Nascimento didn't get a I'm going to say lucky because he was getting beat the entire time. Lucky hit against Cody Durden. His only impressive fight was against Tagir Ulanbekov, who I don't even rate that much. I don't think Tagir's not that good. He got raped by Horiguchi, so I don't really rate that much. It was a good stylistic matchup for him as well. Jake Hadley win. We saw Mitch Raposo lose against Jake Hadley, but I just don't rate Allan Nascimento. I don't think he's good. I think this is a horrible matchup for Allan Nascimento. I think he's going to get beat on the feet, and the only way he can win is if he takes Mitch Raposo to the ground, which I don't think he can. Mitch Raposo is the better wrestler. He isn't the better BJJ practitioner because Allan Nascimento has really good submissions. But I don't think he will take Mitch Raposo down. I really don't think he will. I think Mitch Raposo will keep this on the feet. I think he's going to outbox Allan Nascimento. And I think he might actually knock out Allan Nascimento in the third round, believe it or not. I think Mitch Raposo is so much better than Allan Nascimento. I think he's had some unfair losses in his last two, and he's just showed levels against Osman Maksum, who actually isn't that bad. And I think he's just gonna mop the floor with Allan Nascimento. So Mitch Raposo is gonna be the pick. This could be one of the picks where it was just an obvious pick for Allan Nascimento, but I think Mitch Raposo is a lot better after doing the research. He just didn't look good against a short notice Cody Durden, who we just saw like lost 30-27 against what's his name? The Mongolian guy, Thaimbal Naimarjarol, who lost his UFC debut. So just not an impressive win. A short notice Cody Durden. I think Mitch Raposo is going to show levels, especially if he lets his hands go. He could get the knockout. I'm going to go knockout just because people are disrespecting him. And yeah, Mitch Raposo is going to be the pick by knockout. Now, in the next fight, we have J.J. Aldrich versus Jamey-Lyn North. J.J. Aldrich has pretty good striking, but doesn't have the most impressive wins. Got 30-27 by Veronica Hardy, and just hasn't looked the greatest. Getting some wins over some not regional buns, but like low level UFC fighters. Where Jamey-Lyn North looked impressive against her win against Terra Bleda, was able to stuff all the takedowns and just beat her on the feet, and ended up getting the knockout. Looked good against Vanessa and Petrovic, who's actually pretty alright, not the worst. She also did lose against Veronica Hardy and Miranda Maverick, but those are two really good losses. I don't think J.J. Aldrich and Jamey-Lyn North are on the same level. I think Jamey-Lyn North is a lot better. I think J.J. Aldrich is a good striker, so she won't get knocked out, but I think Jamey-Lyn North is just going to be better everywhere. She's a taller fighter, but slight reach advantage for J.J. Aldrich, and Jamey-Lyn North is a little bit on the older side, but it's women's MMA. I don't think it'll matter, and the pick will be Jamey-Lyn North by decision. Oh my god. Melissa Scare Croden going against Darya Iron Lady Zheleznyakova. I'm not saying that shit. Darya Z, gang. Darya Z going against Melissa Croden. Melissa's pretty alright. Almost fraud checked Luana Santos on short notice. Impressed me quite a bit. Looked pretty good against that fight. Got a KO against Tainara Lisboa. Melissa Croden's a slow starter, man, but she is improving pretty quick on a rapid in a rapid way. In a rapid short amount of time, all that. Darya just didn't look impressive to me in her fight against Melissa Mullins. She got a round one subbed by Eileen Perez. Eileen Perez has 0 submissions, and she said before that fight she's gonna get that round one submissions. That's how dog shit Darya is on the ground. She's not gonna be good on the ground. I don't think she's gonna train to be on the ground. I think most of this fight is gonna be in the clinch, and I do think this is gonna go to decision. But if I'm gonna go with the fighter who impressed me the most, I'm gonna pick Melissa Croden. She's impressed me more. She had a good fight against Luana Santos, who honestly is kind of a fraud. She isn't really that good, but Darya just isn't impressive to me. She's very, very hittable. Melissa Croden is also very hittable and is pretty slow. They're two very, very big bantamweights for the weight class. So this is gonna be an interesting matchup. We've seen Darya struggle kind of against Melissa Mullins, and she was getting rocked by Melissa Mullins here. I just don't think Darya's that good. She's not very technical to me. I think Melissa Croden is just better. I think she'll probably lose the first round and then win the next two. But if she wins the first round, it's Melissa Croden wins no matter what, like easily. She could take down Darya. She could put her in the clinch. She could do anything she wants with her. This should be a win for Melissa Croden, but I honestly wouldn't be that surprised if Darya wins because Melissa Croden didn't look impressive in her win against Tainara Lisboa, who is a good Muay Thai. Who knows? She's a finisher. Maybe she gets a KO, but I think Darya is strong enough to eat the punches and survive. Now we have Tanner the Bulldozer Boser going against Gokhan Saricam. So I'm going with Gokhan Saricam by KO. I think he'll get ground and pound finish on Tanner Boser. Tanner Boser, I watched his fight against Vinicius Moreira. It was a horrible win. It was just not good. The fact that he couldn't knock him out in the first round was just embarrassing in itself. Low output fighter, didn't look good in the UFC at all. Against Ian Kotolaba, he got killed, and he got killed by Rodrigo Nascimento. Oh shit, that's his brother? Your brother's a heavyweight. Oh shit. Obviously knew that game, don't worry. But Gokhan on the regional scene looks pretty good. Lost to a high level fighter who I'm pretty sure is either the PFL or Bellator champ. I think he's the PFL champ, which is pretty impressive. PFL is actually like I think the second best. It's LFA or PFL. They're the top three with UFC for the best promotions. So I actually don't hate that loss. Went to decision. Gokhan's pretty good. Has pretty good wrestling. Okay stand up and actually puts out output. He's just really good. He has the gas tank. I don't think Tanner Boser. If Tanner Boser doesn't get a round one knockout, it's over for him. He lost, guaranteed. But I think Gokhan is a lock here. I think he's a lot better than Tanner Boser. Tanner Boser is not impressive. He got cut from the UFC 3 years ago. Went to light heavyweight. Didn't do anything impressive. Low output, not good. High in reach advantage for Gokhan. Easy win for him. Now we have Robzilla Valentin going against Julien Leblanc. Now Julien Leblanc, when I watch his fights, he's so unimpressive. Like Julien LeBlanc is so unimpressive and so unathletic. Like I want you guys to watch this guy's fights. He's just so unimpressive and so unathletic. And Robert Valentin isn't even good. He's also dog shit. Don't get me wrong. But bro, Julien LeBlanc is just worse, man. Julien LeBlanc just isn't good. I mean, he has good leg kicks, good knees, like okay stand up, can work you in the clinch, but he just isn't good. All of these wins are so unimpressive. His best win is against Darian Weeks, which he was losing, by the way. He was losing against Darian Weeks, and then I think Darian Weeks like injured himself somewhere, and then lucky win for Julien LeBlanc. But I do think Robert Valentine is gonna win this. People are saying that this is a bad stylistic matchup, and that's based on what I'm going off of. He got knocked out by Tibia Gautier. He got caught, couldn't recover. Got wrestle fucked by Torres Finney, who isn't that good in my opinion, but had an injury against Ryan Lauder, so he's had some unfortunate losses as well. Bad matchups here, and he got caught over here. I think he'll beat Julien LeBlanc. I don't think he's a lock. Don't get me wrong, I don't think he's a lock, but I do think he will beat Julien LeBlanc. I don't think Julien LeBlanc's that good. I think his wins are very unimpressive. I think he's unathletic. I think Robert Valentine is gonna be the better fighter here. And yeah, that's gonna be my pick. I'm gonna pick Robert Valentine by. I'm gonna go submission. I think I went submission. I need to check with UFC Prediction Tracker later, but I think it was submission. Now, here, I'll just give you guys the pick real quick. I'm Dennis the Great Buzukja going against Márcio Tikoto Barbosa. Now, Márcio Barbosa is a really good striker, insane knockout power, can push the pace against people, has a really good loss against Gabriel Santos, which I rate a lot. Gabriel Santos is really high level, beat Lerone Murphy in my opinion. While Devin Buzukja has been in the UFC for a while, but just isn't that good. Has a loss against Sean Woodson, Francis Marshall, and Jamal Almers, but we've seen him get chinned before. We know that Márcio Barbosa has the power to chin people. I'm just going to go based off of that. I didn't really do tape study for this one because I just think this is such a mismatch. I think Márcio Barbosa should end up getting the knockout. But, here's the but. If this goes to the second and third round, you might see a finish for Devin Buzukja. And I'm not even kidding. Because Márcio Barbosa is explosive in the first round, but we've seen him have problems with the gas tank against Gabriel Santos. He's only went to decision once, and it was a split decision. He didn't look the best. So he does have cardio problems. If he didn't, this would be a lock confidence pick, but that's probably why he is in minus 400. This is probably a good line. This is probably where it should be at. I think Devin Buzukja is gonna get knocked out. Mismatch. They're even in reach. Yeah. Márcio Barbosa will be the pick by knockout. Alright. Now we have Thiago Mazzoy going against Gage G Money Young. Now Gage G Money Young is actually pretty good. He's a pretty technical boxer with good takedown defense. So I think it is going to be hard for Thiago Mazzoy to take down Gage Young, because he actually did impress me in his fights. He got 30-27 by Evan Elder, but Evan Elder was just throwing nukes, man. He was throwing nukes, like actual nukes. He was able to survive Kun Salkid, who has been finishing everybody. But Thiago Mazzoy is just... He's been in the UFC for a long time, has had some good fights. Got knocked out by Jared Gordon, which surprised me. I didn't think he was going to get knocked out by Jared Gordon, but it was nasty. He got counter left. He is part of the Fighting Nerds. I'm pretty sure that was the year where all the Fighting Nerds were losing. So I'm picking Thiago Mazzoy because right now all the Fighting Nerds are winning. Borralio's been winning. Gene Silva won. Carlos Prates. All of them are going to be winning, except for you're going to see in the next fight. But the Fighting Nerds have been doing pretty good this year. He's going to have a lot of support from them. And I do think he's going to beat Gage Young, probably by decision. Jung is good though. Don't get me wrong. I watched this guy. He's good. He's actually pretty technical. He can be a low output at some times, but he's a good all around fighter. He's a pretty fighter. Pretty boxing. It's pretty boxing. I'm not gay. Like don't do that shit. I'm not fucking a lesbian or I don't want to say slurs and all that, but Jung is actually pretty good. Thiago Mazwe, it's just I think he's just a high level. I don't think any of these wins or losses are on the level of Thiago Mazwe or any of Thiago Mazwe's losses or wins. So I do think this is a step in competition. I think Thiago Mazwe can beat Jung with the calf kicks. Also, he has nasty calf kicks. Jung, even in the stand up, this is scary for him. He's gonna need a knockout against Mazwe, and I don't think he'll get it. I think Mazwe will keep the distance, will get some nasty calf kicks, and I think he'll just beat Young by decision. Now for the next fight, we have Jasmine Jasudavicius going against Karine Killer Silva. Karine Silva isn't good. She lost against Dion Barbosa and got dominated by Macy Barber and Vivian Araujo, which we did see her get a win, but we saw Macy Barber get killed by Alexa Grasso, which was kind of crazy. But Karine Silva is a good, like, meh type of fighter. She's meh, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's okay. Well, while Jasmine's actually pretty good, she did get knocked out by Fioro, but other than that, she has some pretty good wins. Got a quick submission against Andrade, and it's just good against these low level people. And I do think she's a step above against Karine Silva, even though she is 37. I think she's just a step above against Karine Silva. Karine Silva is part of the fighting nerds, but she is not good, bro. She should be like 2-3 in her last fights. She's a blob. She's not that good to me. Very unimpressive fighter to me. And I'm going into decision for Jasmine Jasudavicius. Yeah, it's gonna be a pick. Now we have Mandel Nallo going against Jai, the Black Country Banger Herbert. Now, Jai Herbert has been looking so unimpressive in his last fights. Did get a win over Rolando Badoya, but he's low level. Can't question, not that good. Mandel Nallo actually impressed me in his win in his contender series against Samuel Silva. Has some really nasty kicks, like insanely nasty kicks that he knows how to use. He knows how to use his range. He's a pretty good striker. I don't know about his ground game. I think his ground game is not tested, but I really don't see Jai Herbert going for a double leg or shooting for a takedown. So this will be a stand-up, and since this is a stand-up, I am leaning towards Mandel Nallo. I think Mandel Nallo is the better striker. I think Jai Herbert has been slowing down in his past fights, especially against the one with Chris Padilla, where he was so low output, wasn't throwing that much, and he was just not impressive, man. He really wasn't impressive. And I do think Nallo will get the KO because we've seen Jai Herbert struggle against taller people like Ziam, where he got basically 30-27 by Ziam. He was getting dominated the entire time, and that was 3 years ago. Imagine now when he's going against an explosive Mandel Nallo, who actually looked very good against Samuel Silva. And we've seen Jai Herbert get chinned. I think this is going to be a round one knockout for Mandel Nallo, and I'm actually pretty confident in it. I don't think Jai Herbert's good. I really like Jai Herbert because of his performance against Ilia Topuria. That's like the only reason I like him. But I do like Jai Herbert. If there was any way I could pick Jai Herbert, I would, but I can't. So the pick will be Mandel Nallo. In the co-main event, we have Kyler the Matrix Phillips going against Charles Air Jordan. The pick is going to be Charles Jourdain, probably by submission in the third round. Charles Jourdain is a pretty good striker. Not as good as Kyler Phillips, so I think he will be getting beat on the stand-up, but he has a better ground game. He has a nasty guillotine. And that's the main reason I am picking him. I do think Kyler Phillips is going to gas out in the second and third round because Charles Jourdain is just going to be in his face the entire time and push the pace against Kyler Phillips. I think he is going to give Kyler Phillips time to breathe or actually catch his breath, and that's kind of what Vinicius Oliveira did to him. He was just running him down, and I do think that is what Charles Jourdain is going to do to him. He has okay striking, but he's pretty hittable in my opinion, but he has a nasty ground game, good guillotine. If you take him down and he's on his back, you're basically in a disadvantage. Since he moved up to bantamweight, since he moved up to bantamweight, he's been looking pretty good. Got 2 wins against 2 old people. You could say that his wins aren't impressive, but I actually like the win against David Grant because David Grant looked impressive against, I think, Damon Blackshear or someone. He looked impressive against some like random guy where he was a heavy underdog, and he honestly dominated them, which was a pretty good win for David Grant, and he's actually pretty good. I think he'll fraud Allan. No, it's not Allan Nascimento, but it's someone. Oh yeah, it's the guy that Mark Vologdin went against. That guy, forgot his name, but I think he will beat him. David Grant will beat that guy. And I am taking Charles Jourdain to beat Kyler Phillips. Kyler Phillips hasn't been very impressive to me. Just is just a round one guy, all like all throttle, no brakes, all like that type of stuff. He's gonna look impressive in the first round against Charles Jourdain. Everybody knows it. But if Kyler Phillips loses the first round, which he shouldn't, but if he does, Charles Jourdain guaranteed won the fight. It's over. Kyler Phillips needs to retire. Good loss against Lockdog Oliveira, don't get me wrong, and okay loss against Rob Font, but Rob Font only has 2 wins in his recent fights, and it's him, and it's a robbery decision over Gene Matsumoto where he lost. So basically, his only win is against Kyler Phillips, which just isn't good. Somehow beat Ronnie Barcelos and Marcelo Rojo, but he's not that good, honestly. He's a shorter fighter here, but he does have the reach advantage. He's a pretty lanky guy for the division. But I don't think he beats Charles Jourdain. I think Charles Jourdain is going to push the pace against Phillips. If Phillips tries to go for a takedown, GG's, you're getting guillotined immediately. Charles Jourdain just always looks for those guillotines. Like you really got to watch out with this guy, man. It's actually bad. I think Charles Jourdain wins this. I could see him losing, but he is going to be the pick. By submission. Now, we have Gilbert Dorino Burns going against Mike Proper Malott. Now, when I did tape study for this, I realized something. Mike Malott isn't good, man. He really, really isn't good. And I'm not saying that to be rude because I am Canadian as well, so I really should like him. But he's just very unimpressive. He's a fast striker. He's a really fast striker with good oblique kicks and teep kicks, the one that he used against Charles Radke. But he just looked so bad against Kevin Holland. In the first round, he was getting outstruck. But Kevin Holland is a rangy striker, so you can make the excuse for that. But he just hasn't looked impressive against these other people. He's very hittable on the feet. He just isn't impressive. I'm pretty sure he was a minus 600, yeah, and then they put him back at minus 350. That is the real odds that it should be. Mike Malott isn't as good as people put him out to be. Minus 600 is crazy. He is going to be the pick. But believe me, do not be surprised if Gilbert Burns wins this. Gilbert Burns, level of competition, every single one of these guys would absolutely murder Mike Malott. Mike Malott isn't that good. He has gas issues, gas tank issues, man. Against Neil Magny, he was beating Neil Magny until he just gassed out, and then Neil Magny took the chance to beat and KO Mike Malott, bro. If this goes past the third and fourth round, I would, if I were you guys, I would cash out. I would genuinely cash out my parlay with Mike Malott because he'll probably lose. Because Gilbert Burns, we've seen he could go the full 5 rounds. He's a really good submission practitioner. He has good BJJ. He has okay grappling, and he has good striking. He's improved his striking since he joined the UFC. Good loss against Bilal Muhammad, good loss against JDM, good loss against Sean Brady, and good loss against Michael Morales. All of these people would be Mike Malott, but because Gilbert Burns is 40 years old, he's getting up there in age, and Michael Malott is the taller, rangier fighter, and probably, honestly, the more technical fighter. Mike Malott will be the pick. I don't think this fight will go to distance at all. I think it'll be a round 3 KO for Mike Malott, and that will be the pick. And yeah, that will do it for my UFC Burns versus Malott picks. I'm just going to do a quick recap. I have Siraj for a round 2 submission against John Yannis. I have Mark Vologdin getting a round 3 KO over John Castañeda. I have Mitch Raposo getting a round 3 KO over Allan Nascimento. I have Jamey-Lyn Horth getting the decision win over JJ Aldrich. And I have Melissa Scare Croden beating Darya Iron Lady Zheleznyakova by decision. I have Corn Saricam beating Tanner the Bulldozer Boser by KO in the second round. I have Robert Valentin submitting Julien Leblanc. I have Márcio Barbosa knocking out Dennis Buzukja. I have Thiago beating Gage Young by decision. Close fight. I might switch that. I have Jasmine Jasudavicius beating Karine Silva by decision. And I have Mandel Nallo knocking out Jai Herbert. I have Charles Jourdain submitting Kyler Phillips. And I have Mike Malott knocking out Gilbert Burns for the main event. That will do it for my picks for UFC Fight Night. Burns versus Malott. I'm not as confident with this card as I was with the last one, if I'm being real. Because the last one, there were veterans or like known UFC fighters where I could actually watch their fights in UFC and I could analyze their fight styles. But some of these fights are up and coming new fighters, and it's kind of hard to see who's going to be who because it's just kind of like a 50-50 in my opinion. I think a lot of people do bad on this card, but hopefully we do well. We're going to have to get lucky on this one. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything and it means a lot to me, and it really keeps me motivated to push out content for you guys. And that'll do it for me. If you guys do need help with any betting advices or anything like that, please message me. I've made a lot of money on sports betting, and I'm just here to help you guys, but I will obviously charge you guys because I want to sound more professional because I made a lot of money. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. I hope you guys have a good day and God bless.